Mr. Phillips here, and today I'm going to give you a little bit of an introductory video on how to use a website called Noteflight. So Noteflight is essentially an online version of Sibelius, which hopefully you've used a little bit at school, and it'll allow us to notate any bits of music that we might be working on. It'll allow us to play it back, and we can export it as an audio file or as a MIDI file, so we can put it in a different bit of software. So it gives us quite a lot of flexibility. So it's a really good tool. I don't think it's quite as good as Sibelius personally, but it certainly has a lot of the same features. Right, okay, so it's Noteflight, and it is spelled like that. So here we are, Noteflight online music notation software. Now you will need to create an account, so I've already made an account, so I'm signed in over here. You can just use your Glow email address if you want. You don't have to use a personal email address. So just sign in, create yourself a password, and then you're at this stage here. Now there is a version that you pay for, which allows you to access some slightly more advanced features, and you can get pre-existing scores that other people have written, which is kind of good to look at, but no need to do that right now. You just need to have the free version. Okay, so don't pay for anything. So I want to create a score, so I'm going to go over to the top left hand corner and click on create. There we go, start from a blank score sheet. Yes, that sounds good. And I'm just going to do a very simple score. So there we go. Composer, me. And so to start writing in some notes, I've got my duration up here, so I'm going to select crotchets, or quarter notes as they're known in America. I'm going to go over to my first bar here, and I can either select using the mouse which line or space I'd like them to go on, or I can just type in using my keyboard. So I'm going to start with a C. I'm going to make that's actually a high C and I want a low C, so I can just use my arrow buttons to bring that down to a low C. Next one, so I'm going to have another C, up to a G. Oh, that's down. So that's the G I want. And then I'm going to have a rest. No, so spacebar wasn't it? So go to bar 3 and edit. So back to this screen here. So on bar 3, I want some Fs. Whoops, D. Right, okay, so my G there has a space after it, so I'm actually going to turn that into a minim. There we go, and my C there has a space after it, so I'm going to turn that into a minim as well, so that they last 2 notes. Right, so if I go from the beginning, press space to here. Lovely, I'm actually quite pleased with that. I think that might even make me famous one day. One thing about this software is, unlike a lot of other online softwares that auto-save, you do actually have to save this, so you've got to make sure you save it regularly, just as if you're using a normal computer. A normal bit of software on a computer. Step 2, I'm going to write in a bassline. So on my bottom part here, this is in bass clef. So C is going to be in a different place to if you're in treble clef. So I'm just going to have some minims in my bassline. So if I go there and select, so I'm going to put a C in. So that's done it as a crotchet. So if I change that to a minim, I'm going to have 2 Cs, and then in my second bar I'm going to go F to C, and then I'm going to go F, C, G, C. Okay, so you'll notice, because this is bass clef, the notes are in a different place. So C is on the second space up. F would be, the way I remember is that if you look at those 2 dots there, your F is on that line that travels in between those 2 dots. So I know that that is an F because it is on that line there, and you can count up or down from there. Right, so I'll just turn the volume up so we can hear it. Listening back, let's go back to the beginning. There we go, have a listen. Beautiful. Right, so there's Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. So now what I need to make sure I do is save, so that I've got my progress, and then final step, I'm going to write in my chord symbols. So I'm starting with my first chord here. So I'm going to select my first note and I'm going to press my letter K, and that's going to allow me to write in my first chord, which happens to be a C. My second chord is in the second bar, so I'm going to go to that note, I'm going to press K, and that is going to be an F, and then halfway through the bar, I change back to a C chord. Bar 3 starts off with an F chord, change back to a C chord, then I've got a G chord here, and then finally finishing on C. Okay, so click save, and that's it. So I've got my right hand piano part in treble clef, I've got my left hand piano part in bass clef, and I've got my chords written out over the top of my right hand part, and I've clicked save. So that is what I would like you to do. You can do a different tune if you'd like. I'd preferably like it to be one that I would recognize. You can copy this exact one. I just want you to be able to demonstrate that you can use Noteflight, you can create your own account, and you can notate some things in. I don't know yet whether this is available in an app for an iPad or a phone or anything like that. I don't know if it's available. There are other versions of software that you can use, but this is the one that we're going with at the moment. It's used quite a lot. If you don't have access to a computer at home, I was going to say maybe think about going to the library. That's probably not really a good idea. Not really a good idea at the moment. Anyway, right. So if you do have access to a computer at home, it'd be really, really, really good to try this. And send me a screenshot of what you've got so far. I'll put that on the team, or just send me a message to say, yep, I've done that. Or send me any questions if you're struggling. Right, that's it from me. Have a good day.